Hey, guys, all right, it's Friday. Welcome to the Q&A with Alan and Marshall show on Marshall Atkinson.
I'm Alan Howe with Easy Way.
and like usual, Alan and I are caught up in a discussion before the show, and it's like, oh my God, the show started. So here we go.
Unreal.
Yeah, it is unreal. How come we don't know better?
Because we're unprofessional.
Is that
Thank you, GSG, for putting up with us. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the reason people tune in. It's just like, yeah, what are they going to be doing now? You know,
it's got to be that. It's not because we know what we're doing.
It's why people watch traffic accidents. You
exactly.
know, it's like, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
You know?
How would they screw up this time?
Yeah. Anyway, so thank you so much. I've got good news for everybody watching right now. It's Friday. Congratulations, you made it. Okay.
Absolutely.
So thank you for having a great week. Thank you for spending some time with us today. If you haven't already, please drop a comment. Let us know you're watching. Let us know where you're from, what's going on, your shop name, all that stuff. And don't forget that this is a Q&A show, meaning it's a questions and answers show. Although we have topics, sometimes we're more impactful if we're solving your problems. And we don't have to talk about the stuff that we've got lined up. We'd rather help you. So that's the whole premise of the show, is helping you, right? So please drop that in there.
And Marshall, I actually like it better. I always like our topics and I get excited about, but we can do those anytime. I love it when someone has a question and we all get to help out.
Yeah. And so anyway, so please let us know how we can help you. Also, if you could do us a favor and just share that you're watching the show, that would be really great for us. We really want to, build our audience and all that stuff.
Yep.
So, all right. So,
how was your week, Marshall?
My week was incredibly busy. Incredibly busy. So I've had like a gazillion calls. I had the second of my mid-journey class that I'm doing for the AI Institute. That was yesterday. That's going great. I'm going to be pushing out the next class session, which starts, when does that start? The 26th of March is the next round.
Uh-huh.
I'll probably do probably two or three more this year, maybe. But already it's making a big impact with folks who want to learn Midjourney, because this is 4 sessions at 2.5 hours a piece where we really get into stuff. Right. And people are really loving it. So that's really kind of fun. Anyway,
it's been extremely busy. I mean, since Long Beach, it's been incredible. And a good busy, like I was saying. I was out of town this week.
Where'd you go?
I was in Ohio. Was down the I-75 corridor, north of Dayton, into Dayton, into Cincinnati, and back up. We'll talk about it on one of our topics. Had a great time. I mean, I had to get over. I had to take Monday, and after the Lions' heartbreaking loss.
Let me tell you, I watched that game. I watched that game, Alan, and everybody that's a Detroit Lions fan, even though you lost, you should be really proud.
We are. We're getting over and thinking, going, last year at the beginning of the season, we were 1-6.
Yeah.
And now we're 1 away from the Super Bowl, and we are. And both of our coaches are coming back. 2 of them, the offensive and defensive guy, were up for interviewing on head coaching, and they've decided to stay.
Well, that's what happens.
We're excited about that. So it was a great game. Nothing against San Francisco. You know what? I'm hoping this is a game that the players will go, you know what? We came close. We're not going to let that happen again.
Yeah. So I read something this week, and it's so preposterous, it's hard to even talk about. Mm-hmm. But evidently, Tom Brady left college, and he has 1 year of eligibility remaining. And he's retired.
Right.
Okay. Now, Bill Belichick has left the Patriots. Yep. So imagine this scenario where Brady goes back to Michigan and Belichick goes to Michigan, and hilarity ensues, right? And I thought that was kind of an interesting.
Only in Michigan would that happen at U of M, where Harbaugh is gone, and we haven't. But
Well, that Schrum guy's his coach now, right?
Which is good. He deserves it. So
anyway, I just thought that was because it was football's on my brain as usual, right?
Yeah.
So,
but
by the way, I'm predicting a Chiefs win in the Super Bowl. So
I wouldn't mind a Chiefs win.
That'd be because I think Taylor Swift is going to be the thing that pushes them over the edge, So
man, everybody will go.
Or it's going to be Kelsey's brother shirtless in the stands. One of the two. I don't know which is going to have a bigger impact, but. All right, so we got some comments. Let's say hello to some folks. So Charles is here from New Mexico. Good seeing you. Davis is here. Good afternoon, guys.
That's a great family picture, Davis.
Ghost is here from Sweden.
Hey, Ghost.
Keese is working from the house, recovering from her knee surgery. Glad that was successful.
Get well.
Thank you. Get I'm sure you're limping around or got the little cart or whatever you're doing. So good job with that. Richard's driving.
Be careful driving, Richard.
Brian says, good morning.
Morning, Brian.
Our friend Ray's here. Greeting, Screenlings. William's here. Hey, y'all. Cindy's here from Texas. Good morning. Scott Dawson. Happy Friday from warm and sunny South Florida. I was just talking about you before the show.
From Lake Okeechobee, Florida. Fished that lake once. Love it there.
Yeah, it's just football. No screens involved. How important could it be? For some people, it's really important.
Well, I was at a company that did hot market for they said they wish I would have been the Lions that would have had more, but they did 40,000 for San Francisco. So
Kim's here from Phoenix. Good seeing you, Kim. Actually, I think Tom Brady is going to buy the 2,000 EVs that Hertz is dumping and becomes a UEV salesman. Great. And then I voted for a TS topless in the stands. That's great. That would give it a new meaning to the word Swifty, right?
Exactly. A wardrobe malfunction again.
Yeah. And good morning from Massachusetts. Scrimshaw Screenprints here.
How you doing, guys? Yep.
And he's using the word gentleman, so not sure if he really knows us well.
Shane knows us pretty well. So, yeah.
All right.
It confuses us that he's using the word gentleman.
Yeah, he's trying to be ironical.
And I know, Shane, we'll probably see you hopefully at Atlantic City.
Yeah. So we're both teaching classes, so please sign up. By the way, both classes are on Thursdays. So, Alan, you're doing your auto
intro to auto,
yep. Which I took that class at Long Beach. It's a good class.
Thank you. And
Alan, you're going to send me your presentation so I can fine tune it, right?
He's going to make it more sexy.
And I'm teaching my mid-journey class also, right? And they're not conflicting times, so you can take both.
Yeah, I believe mine's at 9:00. So yeah. I will actually send you that today, and don't forget because I have my Google Drive open.
Yeah. Okay. And Brian says Brady's NI deal would be huge. Yeah. And he's trying to class it up for you. Thanks.
You might need a team on that one, Shane.
Right. And Dean says, howdy, fellas. Happy Friday.
Hey, Dean. Dean, are you going to Atlantic City?
Yeah.
So let us know.
So looking forward to seeing us. Great.
Awesome.
All right. Hey, so before we get into stuff, let's get our commercial going here. So I'll get that tied up here. And as always, we want to thank GSG for sponsoring our little show that could. And we appreciate you and everything you do. Yep. And here's some awesome stuff from them. Enjoy.
Over the last 70 years, GSG has seen many changes in the apparel decorating industry. But one thing that hasn't changed is our dedication to helping our customers discover what's next. As we continue to lead the industry, GSG is here to support your business with industry experts. The latest innovative products, training services, and by delivering the perfect order.
awesome. I'm still digging that music. It hasn't gotten old yet.
Dude, it's awesome. Daniel's done a great job with that video, man.
So Dean says negative ghostwriter. The pattern's full.
Yeah, exactly. Not good.
And Mike's here from rainy California. It's rainy Arizona today in Arizona. So same thing, same probably cloud. So, but here's the good news is we don't work outside digging a ditch. So that's okay. All right. So let's get into the mix. Don't forget, we need your questions or comments or whatever. And so here's our first topic today, which is proactive outcomes, right? And so this is something that I wanted to share. And so it's really about, it could be about anything with your business. It could be about sales. It could be about production. It could be about employee training. But what I want you to really wrap your brain around and see if you can do better is thinking proactively about what you really want. And then building that so it happens. And I think a lot of times in this industry, and of course, not for everybody who watches here, because you guys do everything perfect, but thinking about what do we really want, right? So when we say sales, that's a sales goal. Well, that top line sales, you know, as we all know, that's kind of a vanity thing, right? The only thing that really matters is your gross profit and your net profit. Are you actually looking at that? Right. And then when do you look? You know, I was talking with somebody earlier this week and I asked them about, you know, last year's stuff. And they said to me, hey, I don't know how much I made yet. My accountant hasn't given me that number. Right. And I'm like, you realize it's almost February.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if you don't know what you want, and if you're not really tracking what's happening, you're just, you know, you get what you get, right? That's how it happens, right? And I think this is how people go years into this business without really thinking about, we're in control of this stuff. We're the captain steering the ship. What do we actually want? And can we head that way? And this could be sales. This could be profit. This could be employee training. This could be trying to get better customers. This could be a lot of things, right? And I think, you know, a lot of people, they're just nose to the grindstone, getting crap out, getting orders done, shipping, and they don't ever stop to think about, you know, what are we doing? What is it really, you know, is this really getting us to our goal or not? Right. And what do you think about that, Mr. Howe?
Well, you know, it's easy to get caught in what I call on the treadmill of just you're going through the same routine every day, because that's what it is. You're printing orders, you're taking orders, you're doing stuff. But you have to, as a company, you have to, as a person, to keep looking forward. What am I going to do different? And what am I going to do different before I'm forced to do different? And then that's reacting. And if you're reacting to your competition, to your clients, you need to be proactive on giving them solutions, asking the questions and sales of what are they looking for, where are their problems, how you can be a source on it. As a company, how do you need to rebrand yourself? An easy way, we've seen some people have seen some leaks of new legal. We're going through a new rebrand, and you know what? We want to do better of staying out in front of the client, out front of the printers. I was talking to a friend of mine who works for a competitive company. I'm not going to say who, but he gets frustrated because they have a good team, they have decent products, and he goes, "We can't get out of our own dang way." And he goes, "It is frustrating." He goes, "You guys seem to be out in front of the customer." And I said, "Well, I'm glad it seems that way. I mean, every company has its shortfalls, but I think in each way they're actually looking what to do, and you've got to be proactive on it."
Well, here's the thing: is you got to put the effort in, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You got to show up, right? And I think a lot of people, you know, let's just take sales for example, right? So, are you an order taker? You just waiting for the phone to ring or the email to happen? Or are you going after driving sales by meeting with people? Are you looking at how people are buying and doing things differently? Is your sales brain 2 months out? Like right now it's February. You should be thinking about, you know, March and April. Okay. What's going on with your clients in March and April? And that's what you need to be kind of thinking about, right?
Yep.
And if you're just thinking about, what's happening this week or next week, is like, you're never going to pull in these orders proactively, and you might lose sales because of that.
Right.
I talked to so many people, right? And there a lot of people is like, I just don't have any sales right now. And my first question is, well, what was your sales effort like yesterday? What like, how many people did you go see? How many people did you call? And it's like, well, we didn't do anything. I was like burning screens. And I'm like, okay, well, explain to me why you have a sales problem.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the effort you got to put in, and it's the same thing with like employee training, right? So we have our press operator, right? Okay. So who else knows how to do that position? Nobody. Is like, okay, who's got all the leverage in this relationship?
Right.
Right. How come we don't have multiple people know how to run the press or the embroidery machine or whatever? Right. And so
you got to be proactive and get out of your own way.
Yeah.
And it happens to us where sometimes Marshall and I were having a conversation just, as we were late on the show. And basically he said, you looked at me and it's like a free coaching. This is the best part. He goes, why are you doing that? Wasting your time learning that? Send it to a VA. And I'm like, well, yeah, duh. And that's on my list of things to do today.
Yeah.
And he actually was talking to the person I'm going to have do it, when we're there. But it's like sometimes we're so fixed on being reactionary or going, I know what I need to get done and I know what to do it, but we're not doing it. I guess the best way for me, I'm in my own way, I'm not doing it smartly.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the whole
smartly. Is that good grammar? I'm not doing it well.
Yeah. So this is the whole who, not how theory, right?
Yeah.
So like, whatever it is, you don't personally have to do it, right? Maybe you like doing something, but if there are things that you're doing every day that you hate doing, or you're not really good at, or whatever, or they're like what I call chore work.
Yep.
Like, why are you doing that? And like, is there anybody capable of doing what you're doing? And can you do it? Like, what is your personal time worth? Why are you doing that? Right. Yeah. And I was just talking with somebody this morning, and they were getting back from delivering shirts to a client. I'm like, well, what is your time worth? And he's like, a lot. I go, well, then why are you driving the order there and back? I'm like, you couldn't get somebody to deliver that for you?
Now, if you're delivering it and you have an appointment with them going, and you're talking about,
I understand the customer interaction part, right? But this is not
but that better be planned.
This is not what they normally do. Yep. They were just trying to make the customer happy because they needed some stuff, and it was faster to get there. It's like, well, you could have Uber deliver that. You could have any of your shop employees deliver that. I mean, you could get a courier to deliver that. You didn't have to be you.
Yeah.
So because if you're doing that, like, here's a list of things I need to work on today. You're not doing these priority tasks because you're doing what I call a chore work, right? And to me, it's like, in your own house, you got to take out the garbage and wash the dishes and feed the dog and whatever, right? Those are chores that always have to be done, right? In your business, you have chore work like that, right? Yep. Shipping garments, or burning screens, or doing receiving, or, any of this stuff that has to be done, but it doesn't have to be you, the owner, doing it, right? And so if you're caught doing that stuff, I want you to think about, what is your time worth an hour versus, can I hire somebody to do this thing? Yep. Whatever. Right. So got some comments. Let's get those done. I will. Dean says he'll be at ASI Chicago and at Printing United in September. We also got an invite to attend the exclusive Apparel Deco Summit. That's great.
Good.
Frank says, good morning, gentlemen.
Morning from SNS. Yeah.
Ray says, production-wise, I push this on my clients day one. What is the exact specific results, measurements, please, that you want at the end of the print line? We will then build the process backwards to achieve that. Do not start with a process first and try to bend it to an unplanned result. This is perfect. This is genius. Yep. I love this. This is what we're exactly talking about. Thank you for saying it better than we could. That's great.
from one consultant to another.
Yes. Good morning, Charlie. Good seeing you.
Always good to see Charlie.
And Scott says, I'm working on becoming the least important person in the business. Delegating isn't easy, but it's necessary for us to grow.
100%.
Good point. Okay. So when you delegate stuff, right, there's a couple key parts here, Scott, that I think sometimes get missed, right? So when you delegate anything, the person has to know how to do it. So it's training. They have to have the skill. They have to have the time. You can't just dogpile another thing on their busy day because they're not going to do it, right? They have to have working, functioning equipment or the computer or access or whatever, right? They got to have that. And then the key component is that they understand the expectations with clarity about when it's due, the quality, everything that you want. And then the last thing that's so crucial for this is that they have to be willing to do it. And I think a lot of times when we delegate to stuff, we give it to people and they're not really, they might have all that stuff, but they're just not willing. And that's could be a huge reason why the thing doesn't get done, because you're just doing things. I used to work for a guy and he was famous for at the end of the day, and his nickname for everybody was the Seagull. And at the end of the business day, he would come in and he would go, hey, do me a favor. And then here comes the thing, right? And so we called him the Seagull because he would just swoop in, poop on everybody, and swoop out. Yep. Right. And we all hated it because of how it made us feel. Right. Because he was just dumping and offloading,
Yep.
And had no cognizant awareness of our time and what was happening. So now it causes everybody to stay late because he doesn't want to do something.
Yeah.
So that's key in delegating is don't be a seagull. Okay.
Right.
All right. Hurley says, good morning. Good seeing you.
Morning from Canada.
Brian says, we should be as proactive about sales as we were about production. We buy equipment and hire staff to produce, but don't buy tools and staff for sales. Great.
100%.
Love it. Marriott says, hello, boys, at Slovenia at 1830, very cold. Yep, I bet.
Is that 6:30 in the morning? I think he's talking about.
Well, 1830 would be 6:38. Was it 6 plus 12? It'd be 6:30 at night. Right?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. Right. Like Marshall said, in the process of shedding chores, delegating, please choose carefully. In the rush to slide things off of one's plate, if you delegate to unreliable or unable persons, your business losses in the end when things do not get done at a required level of quality or time. Great. Great point to set aside a time to teach delegation instead of stacking on top of what to do daily. Yep. And note taking, don't be a seagull. Right.
Well, and like Scott said, you can't just pile stuff on. If you're going to give it to someone, what's their plate look like? And you've got to help them take something else off or help them delegate down.
Yeah.
So, because nobody likes to, because you don't want the seagull effect where you just come and dropped on you and there, do it.
And if every single time you start the conversation with, hey, can you do me a favor?
It's not a favor. Yeah.
It's not a favor. It's you're just pooping on them. And
with disregard for what they have done, how are they going,
or what's happening, so it's 4:45, they're leaving at 5, and you give them an hour and a half project to do. You're not going to be their fan favorite ever.
No, not at all. And what are they putting aside to do that? Is it more important? So yeah, there's a big picture. Yep.
That's why I call it, you can't be a dog piler. Just throws it on, right? And by the way, that's a thing that all production people hate, is the sales who just, we've got a full schedule, we can't take any more work, and they just keep adding it on there, thinking, well, they'll just figure it out, right? And then everybody gets upset because we can't stay on track with their schedule.
Sure,
right? That's just ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
So, have you ever been on an airplane and we're waiting for 30 minutes or 45 minutes to get a gate at the airport? I have.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the same thing.
Yep, exactly.
But don't they know we're landing?
Yeah, it's just
Didn't
a
did they
surprise.
figure that out before we left?
Are they up there in the control tower going, son of a gun,
Hey,
the
they're
plane,
they're
the
going to
plane
be
made it.
they're going to be here in an hour,
Wow.
right?
Huh.
Shouldn't we make room for them?
With that pilot and that plane, they made it. Huh.
Oh my gosh, what a shock.
Yeah,
They're here.
exactly. Yeah, and I'm sure. And what do you mean people have connections?
Scott says you guys should get paid for your show. Thanks for all the knowledge you share.
Well, Scott,
did you notice the logo right up here above Alan's head? It's called GSG. It's sponsored by them, and we do get paid. So.
And Scott, you don't see the knock in your credit card every month?
Yeah,
for subscribing to Q&A.
Yeah. Frank says, I love the theme of the book, the EMAP, to set up your processes like you're going to sell your business for anyone to run it like you do. Exactly.
Oh, nice.
Classic.
Yep.
Like, how old's that book? 20 something years? That book's forever old.
Yep.
Michael Gerber, right? Forever old. I love it though. You think about, how does McDonald's taste like McDonald's everywhere on the planet? They have a process.
And they do. When I first started going to Asia and, third world country, we were told safest place to eat if you need to find McDonald's. Because even the beef and stuff it's frozen. It's from New Zealand.
Yeah. Well, it's not the highest quality place to eat.
But safe.
Yeah. But safe, right? Yeah.
Yep.
All right, cool. All right. So any comments, questions of that, throw them in the chat. Let's move on to the next topic, which is kind of related, which is things not going your way, right? So you had an experience this week.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So why don't you talk about that? And then, and I know we're going to use a word here that you swore you weren't ever going to use again, which is pivot.
I'm not going to use it. We're going to say
you adjusted.
We adjusted.
Okay. We adjusted. So talk about what happened and maybe the lesson you learned.
And the fact of the matter is things happen. You try to plan, you try to do that, things happen. I was planning, I was going to go on one side of state, going to go see a larger account in the middle of a state. I was in Ohio. I'm not going to say who the people were, but they ended up, it wasn't going to be able to happen on their end and nothing major. We talked like 4 or 5 times over the week. And so it was fine. But now what my plans were messed up. I have a whole day. I'm out of town. Mileage already going. What am I going to do?
You're already there.
Yeah. The nice thing is that there are screen printers everywhere. So, I've been doing this long enough. So luckily it's not a freak. It's like, okay, what do we do? You go back to basics. Who do I have on my list? Who do I have in Google screen printers near me? There's your list right there of people. You start cold calling. I know this person. I talked to him a year ago. It's this and that. I'm talking to my dealers. I'm in this area. I've had some open time. Who are you working with? You know what? I've been working with this guy here. They gave me a list of stuff.
Uh-oh. Temporary pause while Alan figures out his video.
There we go.
Hey, he's back.
I don't know why it did that. I didn't touch anything.
Yeah, because you were sharing a secret and the internet didn't like it.
I was. Easy way went and got it. But you know what? What I was saying is it was one of the most productive days. I saw a lot of screen printers, and the last call was a conversion from one competitive product. Ended up talking. They're going through a process that is just, 5 to 6 chemicals. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this wrong. This is why I'm going to be working till I'm 90. Got them down to 3, a 3 chemical process, did a demonstration, asked for the order, bam.
Yeah. So when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. You do something with it. Okay. So, this can be about really anything in our businesses.
Yeah.
And it's all about, what are we doing? When we had something planned and it didn't work out, or we hired a person and they were the wrong fit and we had to get rid of them. Does that mean we don't need to hire somebody else? No, it's all about that guy or that woman, right? Maybe we just need to replace them, right? And then it was just sometimes just life happens, man. Things don't go your way, and you can't get all crazy about it. I think you just need to react.
Yep.
Calmly, collectively, if you need to take a breath, take a minute, it's okay. It's not the end of the world, right? And let's face it, what we do isn't brain surgery.
And nobody dies if the shirt doesn't get, Yeah. If you don't see me at your shop, you can get easy way from a zillion places.
Yeah. Right. So Frank says, I love the, oh, he did that one. Ray says, at this point, we're talking about internal tasks. The big problem is when someone starts outsourcing production, sub-assemblies, screen making, boxing, blah, blah, blah. Too many times functions that should be kept in-house are farmed out and should not be.
True.
Good take there. And then the moral of Alan's story, always have a plan B and C. Wait, did Alan get kidnapped by aliens?
Plan B is always when Alan gets kidnapped by aliens, Marshall continues.
Yes, right.
He's got that.
No, we'll just have a guest host.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Done that before. So.
Yeah. And so anyway, I think this is,
and it's not always, Marshall, having the plan B and C. It's being able to, we were talking about proactive, but there are times you have to react, but not get frustrated. Earlier, a new salesman go, well, this is stupid. I'm just going home. No.
Yeah. And also, let's not forget that sometimes there are incredibly dramatic things.
Yep.
You find out your business partner is embezzling, because I've heard that story from people.
Oh yeah.
You get fired.
Yep.
You've got a client who is 45% of your business and they decide to go somewhere else. Right. These things could happen, right?
Yeah, they do happen.
And they do happen, right? So what's the pivot? COVID, nobody expected COVID to happen, right?
Right.
That created a big problem. A lot of people are out of business because they were very fragile and weak anyway, right? And that sent them over the top. Other people, they came back stronger than ever. They took advantage and opportunity of it, right? And so how you react and how you do things, I think, says a lot about you and a lot about your company and the people that work for you.
Worst sales day I ever had. It's in 2013. I'm on vacation, taking my mom, my grandmother, and my stepdad, driving with them down to Alabama. They hate to drive, so I drive. I'm coming back, and the company calls me, and there's a problem with a huge, large account in New Hampshire we have. I wasn't with EasyWay, it's with tech support. And I'm like, all right, I'm on my way home. I'll fly there. I drop everybody off in Canton, Ohio. I get a plane. I go to New Hampshire. Meet with the company. It's one of those meetings, Marshall, you've been in where everything's going great. And, everybody says the right thing, but this is just smoke. We have lost this account.
Yeah.
I'm on the steps of the company, walking out of their building. And as I'm about ready to call the office, my phone rings. And it's one of my largest accounts in Ohio. I'm losing the ink business and I'm losing this part of the business. In a matter of 5 minutes, almost $250,000 in business gone. I have to call the company and tell them this. How did it go? Meeting went great, but here's my gut feeling. Here's also what's happening. And you know what? That's tough to pivot for.
Yeah.
The company I was working with was only about a $4 million, and that was a big chunk.
Yeah.
And you know what? I go back to the hotel room. I'm flying out the next day, and I'm talking to the owner of the company, and he had the right thing. He goes, Alan, he goes, snap out of it. He said, yeah, does this hurt? But what have you said about these accounts? And you've trained us. These accounts are for rent. We don't own them. Things are going to happen. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And you know what? Can I make that up? Yeah, and I did. But I made it up over, not with 2 other accounts of that big. I made it up with over 10 of them that we made better profit on.
Yeah.
And you have to just keep doing that. Keep the pipeline going. And you have to just breathe, relax. It's not the end of the world. And keep going. You are going to lose accounts. And if you put all your eggs in monster huge accounts, then when they go away, because they will, it might be tomorrow, might be in 10 years, but nothing's forever. And you know what? That's a big chunk.
Right. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yep.
And I know you didn't see this, but Ray's still waiting on the podcast to be totally done with AA versions of Marshall and Allen.
Well, maybe it is now, and you just don't realize it.
Yeah.
How
would you know?
How do it know? Exactly.
How would you know?
That's the scary part.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually in Florida right now, I'm sure. On vacation.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, hey, it's the bottom of the hour-ish. So let's, I forgot to share. So what's, like we always do, we want to share the Pulse magazine from GSG. Yep. So this is a really great resource for you guys. Be sure to check it out. That's at gogsg.com. And you can, there's a banner ad, you just click, here it is. And then as you can see, there's tons of information about all types of products. And we'd love you to check it out and to order from them. Even if GSG doesn't distribute in your area, I believe they can ship anywhere, and they do. So
I think they can get to most of the country within 2 days from one of their branches.
Yeah. So anyway, check them out. Go gsg.com, click on the Pulse, and review the info. I think you'll love it. So,
absolutely.
All right. Moving on. Third topic today is this was one from you, right? So all about pre-registration, right?
Yeah. I am more and more, Marshall, and I know you are a huge fan of pre-registration in consulting. And a lot of this I start seeing, and I'm going to say I did an article for Screen Print Magazine. You can go see it, called Small Market Automation for Screen Printers. It means small shops. And we think of pre-registration almost always exclusively with automatics. And you should. Every automatic has one. And you need to have that. But what most people don't realize is that if you have you're a manual shop, you can get a pre-registration system. Read the article. It's not distributed by GSG. I won't say the name, but they make them for all manual shops. The company that's listed on there for all manual presses. And you know what? Not a bad thing. And even, Marshall, my other thing too, you can standardize your screens to a 2331 because almost all presses will take a 2331.
Yeah.
So that way you have that pre-registration. So when you get an automatic, you're all set.
What this is, okay, and I know you're talking screen printing, but we could talk about this for embroidery. We could talk about this for DTF. We could talk about this for anything. It's creating a template for the process or the results that you want. So a pre-registration system is basically setting up a system where it all clicks into place and it's easy to work, right?
Yep.
You could have that with how you set up your art. You could have that with how you contact your clients. You could have that for how you receive anything, right? Or what's the system for asking off on a vacation day? Whatever. It can be a templated system so it's always the same. And when you do more of these things where the outcome is always the same, what happens is you move faster.
Yep.
So how are you doing employee reviews, for example? Is it always the same? Is there a system? Or like I've talked to so many shops. When's the last time your employees had a review? I don't know, like 2 or 3 years ago. Mike, don't you think that bugs them? It's like, we just don't have time. Okay. Yeah. You say you don't have time, but you do have time. It's just not a priority for you.
Right.
And so we can talk about setting up a templated system for doing employer performance reviews. You just have to put the work in and then manifest it and make it happen and do it. And then guess what? You'll have it. Right. So the pre-registration thing is for screen printing. I love it.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, this carries over, this idea, this notion carries over with everything that you do.
Well,
and so don't get lost in the weeds about, well, I'm not a screen printer. All I do is DTF, right? Hey, phone call.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah. So, you know, so anyway, so it's just, what is the outcome that you want? And can we build a process? Can we build a system? Can we build the measurements that we need to ensure that the things happen the way that we want?
Yeah.
You know, that's what a pre-registration system does, is it allows you to get the outcome that you want easier. You know?
Yeah.
So like, for example,
you can do it.
I'm sorry.
It could be as simple as having lasers set up on your heat press. It could be as simple as having lasers set up, as you're loading a shirt, which needs to happen too, especially when doing left chest or something needs to be lined up in the right area on there. These are things that just make you move faster.
Yeah, right. What do you want?
With less scrap rate, 100%.
Well, what should the scrap rate be?
Yeah.
Have we defined that? Have we defined what we're doing? Or is just we get what we get and whatever,
Right.
All right. So what's your average run length? How many setups per day? What is the ratio of run length time to setup time? Pre-registration for manual can actually be in short run shops more profitable than an auto shop with medium to long runs.
I would agree.
Well, depends. Is your pricing reflective of what you're doing? What are you trying to make per hour? What is the outcome that you should have there, right? Is your pricing based on the actual math of your shop, or did you copy your price list from some other knucklehead down the street and it's 10% higher or lower or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, and higher and or more uniform screen tensions will make all pre-reg systems faster, more accurate. Of course.
100%.
Alan's catch is called "The Box is Unsat."
No, that was actually one of the reps for Easy Way calling me and probably forgot I had podcasts going on.
Yeah, that's okay. And
it was Rick Christian and out of New Hampshire. He's an amazing guy. So
yeah. So, let's talk about processes. My phone's on silent.
Well, I just turned mine off. Again, we're new at this and unreal.
Yeah. What is the expected outcome that we have? Do we have things set up that we need to be doing?
Yeah.
We're all guilty of larceny here sometimes, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Ghosta says, buy a bigger work in progress. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Cool.
Yep.
All right. So
pre-registration, and Marshall and we're going to talk about this in the future too, that for smaller shops, we talk about automation. We talk about things, and, I live in that screen print world, but we talk about things that, we need to be looking at automating. And we always think sometimes I talk to companies, they're going, we're just not at that place. No, you are at that place. There are solutions, and we need to start just bringing those out more.
Well, yeah. What is automating? Automating is thinking about we want to do something better. We want to eliminate steps. We want to eliminate people. We want to have the outcome that we have by touching it less,
Yep.
or just eliminating the need to do something altogether.
Yeah.
And for one of the things that I like to coach shops on is the need to do what I call the scavenger hunt today for tomorrow's production, right?
Right.
You guys have probably heard me talk about this before, right? So look at your schedule for tomorrow. Like, what are you doing, right? So today, by the end of the day, 100% of the jobs, we've pulled the shirts, we pulled the screens, we mixed the ink, we've got the embroidered cones of thread, whatever. We have the DTF transfers, we have everything we need. And when that's all assembled and lined up next to the equipment that is going to be run in the order that we want to run the jobs in. And that way, when the crew comes in the morning, there's a list of everything they got to do, and everything they need is sitting right there. Imagine how much more effective your team will be if they don't have to go look for anything.
Well, Marshall, too, when you're talking on applying transfers to DTF, this is where I love lasers coming in, because you want that. You don't want to be messing around going, is that there? Measuring. Have the lasers set up, place it down, move on.
Exactly. And so it's just about what's the outcome, right? And then, what would drive me crazy back when I was running shops is, why is the printer in the screen room? What is he doing over there?
Yeah. Looking for a screen.
Yeah, looking for the underbase screen. Well, why wasn't that pulled with all the other screens? What happened? Right. And it's just you discovering this stuff, and you have to be present. I say it all the time. You must be present to win, right? You need to be physically out there looking and observing and making notes and checking on things. And, I like production operations management that's actually present in operations and production. You can't be in the office.
Yep.
Behind a desk. That's not how you lead, right? You gotta help people solve their problems. And to do that, you have to know what the problems are, right?
Yep.
And that's sometimes really difficult because a lot of times your staff won't tell you.
Right.
Because they don't even know. They don't know what the problem is.
Absolutely.
They just know that I didn't get what I needed, All right. So Mario says, Trilux wins at pre-press. We bring the screens in correct positions so we don't have to move the pallets on the Sportsman. So we can set up multiple screens for one color jobs. Big time saver. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When you just lock it in. There's 3 points of contact. Go.
Yep. Done.
Even if it's a one color, it's exactly perfect on the platen. Right?
Yep. Exactly.
So that's great. And let me tell you though, just speaking of that, so many shops I've been to tell me that their guy can set up faster than Trilux. I'm like, I don't care.
Really?
Okay, what about your catcher? How fast is she at setting up?
Yeah.
Okay, that guy's got 20 years in doing it. Maybe he's blazingly fast. Okay, well, what happens when he's sick?
Yep.
Okay, also, are you sure that he's setting up at the speeds? Are you even measuring? Because a lot of people aren't, right? So,
And people, this is where I call it kingdom building, going, no. They think it's an attack on their job skill.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that I also tell you is that people will try to do Trilux and it won't work. And they'll say, this thing doesn't work. I go, really? There's thousands of shops that use this every day. So there's something wrong? I think it's you. What's the problem here? Okay. Yep. The problem is that you're not using a template for the art. The problem is you're not making sure the things are locked in, or there's tape on the screen, or your pallets are unlevel, or there's a million other reasons, right? You got to discover why it's not working.
Right.
Right. And is your press operator sabotaging it because he wants to leverage in the relationship?
I was just going to say that. That is usually what I see most of the time.
Yeah. So it's not that it doesn't work. It works, people.
100%. Right? Yep.
And any other system will work.
Yep.
If you use the system and deploy it like it was designed, it's going to work. If you go out of the norm, you're going to have a result that's unpredictable or unwanted, right?
Yep. You got to have your processes set up, and they have to do them.
And this is with not just screen printing. This could be embroidery. This could be DTF. This could be with your sales. This could be how you receive things. This could be with DTG. It could be anything.
Yep. And now, like I said, with DTF, with DTG, there's always laser systems. There's always video imaging right onto the garment now. There's no excuses.
Yeah. There's tons of stuff out there. Are you just using them? Right.
Yep. Exactly.
Ghosta says, but it's a thin line to micromanage equal not trusting the employer. Yeah. But if you have a system, or we follow the system, it's a binary thing. Either you're doing it or you're not.
Yep.
Right. If you're not, it's wrong.
Yep.
Have you as the shop established what the outcome should be, and these are the ways I want. There's guardrails. Let's do it this way, right? Ray says they're all 3-point registration. They all work, but if you had 4 radically different tensions generating 4 radically different off contacts, it's not going to work well. Exactly. Right. That's just part of your process is the tension, right?
Well, radical loss in tension is a bigger issue too.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right.
Cool. All right. We're on time. All right. Got time for our last bit. Right. Without looking, what was it? You looked.
I have to look. You need to do things different.
Yeah. So here you go, Alan. Quit looking. Need to do things differently. Right. So I say this all the time. If you're not getting the result that you want, you have to change. You have to do things differently. Don't have any sales right now? Well, guess what? Whatever you're doing is not working.
You know what? I love people making screens or reclaiming screens, but if you have no sales, you're not going to need those screens. Those don't make sales.
Yeah. So like, it could be anything in your shop, right? If you're not getting the outcome that you want, you have to make a change. Okay.
Yep.
So does this got to be drastic, crazy change? No, it could be some tiny little thing.
Yep.
Okay. But you have to like think about it and look at it and analyze it and come up with something new. And then guess what? You got to try it, right? You have to try it. That's the hard part, is the trying part.
What, and you know what did, who was the saying? What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you know what? Change is hard. Let's just be honest. Sometimes change is hard, but it's always necessary.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
Yes. So, I try to do things differently, but I'm stuck in my ways just like everybody else. Right. And, but it's just one of these things where you start thinking about things and you try something, and here's a good example. Where are we now? We're at the beginning of February of last year. Right. I just started using Midjourney. Okay. And now I've got a newsletter and I'm teaching classes and blah, 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 blah.
For other industries, you're teaching classes.
Oh, yeah. And so it's like one of these things where who knew that effort would lead to this, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not like I started off wanting to, this is where I'm going to go. It's like I just kept pulling the thread. What are we doing here? What's going on with that? How can I, oh, that's really cool. Will it do this? Will it do that? And I think being consistent with my experimentation has allowed me to really learn it so I can teach other people, because I'm willing to make, let me tell you, I made a gazillion mistakes. There's a lot of things that don't work out. Mm-hmm. I show my experiments, but what I'm not showing is the ones that suck. I'm just showing you the ones that look good. Right. So, but, I think it's fun. Right. And it's led me into a different kind of a thing. Right. So when we think about doing things differently, this, let's just use Midjourney as an example for me. Right. But this is me. This could be a different revenue stream. It is. It could be a different customer model. It is.
Yep.
And so what has led to that is my experimenting. So for you guys watching, are you playing with things that you don't know anything about? And you don't have to do the production, right? You could outsource stuff like maybe you don't do embroidery. Well, can you find somebody that does embroidery and maybe contract the orders to them? Or maybe it's promo, or maybe it's whatever. What if you shifted your screen print shop to be a help people with their marketing and branding, and you're offering higher level stuff? So instead of just your apparel printer, what if you're also doing websites? What if you're also doing social media posts? What if you're also helping them build trade show displays or doing vehicle car wraps? Or I don't know, right? You've got access to lots of stuff. How you use this information and do it is this could be a relevant new opportunity with your customers, or maybe a different level of customer that can pay you more for the same work that you're already doing. And like I talked to so many shops they're like, they do contract work and retail, and they're like, it's 60-40 retail to, contract. And I'm like, well, why are you doing this contract stuff? Yeah. He's like, well, we're using it to keep our presses spinning. I'm okay. Well, is that hampering you from getting out there and closing more deals that you're going direct for? Yep. Yes. Okay. Well, why are you doing that? Why don't you spend more time recruiting? They like the contract work just because it just sends it in and they can push it out. Right. It's easy. Okay. But what they don't realize is that's hampering how much they're making an hour with the shop.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the people I know that are doing contract, they're actually wanting to do more and more custom just because the profitability is so much higher.
Yeah, but
They're actually working on that. So
yeah, they're working on that. But so you have to draw a line in the sand and say, what do you want? What's our goal? What are we doing? Right. And I know so many, now let's admit it. Okay. Both of the shops that I ran were 100% contract printers. We didn't go direct at all.
right.
And we made all the money based on huge volume.
Yep.
Huge volume. Like you can't even believe the volume kind of stuff, So, I mean, at times I was going through 4 drums of white a week volume. Okay. So, crazy. Right. So the thing to think about here is, and what do you want? And so if you think about, we want to make more money, we want to make more profit, right? Well, are you willing to raise your minimums, or do you need to raise your prices? Do you need to talk to a different customer type? Maybe you're doing stuff with one group. Okay, that's great. You're fantastic. Okay, but what if you did something completely different? Who do you know that can sell to those people? Can you need to just start poking around at this, right? And I think that would really, you might be surprised a year from now where you might end up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Marshall, just the sales guy and old ink guy in me, you were buying 4 drums a month. Why weren't you buying in totes?
It wasn't because then you need the pump and you need all the other stuff. Plus, it wasn't for the whole year. It was just when we needed it.
Got it. Okay.
And sometimes they couldn't even get us drums, so we would get all these 5 show up.
And 5s, yeah, because they have in stock.
Well, that's a lot of it was based on the ink company.
Yeah, and I'm just going because they sell it in totes. Go, man, it was 250 gallons. That would have been an easier thing to have that put in there. But anyway.
Yeah, but we also put the drums by the presses, right? So
sure.
And so
yeah, no, I get it.
Anyway,
just a thought. That was the old ink salesman in me going, huh.
Yeah, right. I get it. So all right. So Jesse says Ray says when sales are slow, you have more time to beat the employees to correct the problem. Oh, I mean, train your sales reps.
Yes.
Right?
That's
What's the phrase? Unless the beatings won't stop until your attitude changes. What was the thing?
Something like that, but I don't. Yeah.
The beatings will continue until your attitude changes.
Right. Okay, my attitude's better now.
Yeah, great. All right, well, cool. So, all right, we're nearly out of time here. So, any last minute questions or whatever, dump them in there so we can get to them.
Just went fast.
Alan, what are you doing this weekend? You got big plans?
No big plans. I still got a bunch to do today. I have a meeting like right after this with my superiors and stuff like that. I don't think anything's bad, but yeah, going over stuff.
They all love you.
Of course they do. As long as you're producing, they love you. A lot of changes going on, so we'll see what's happening. You go with the flow.
Exactly.
I bought stuff. I'm gonna make chili again.
Ooh, chili.
Yeah.
I have a hankering for some chili. Now,
Except,
are you an all meat guy, or do you put beans in your chili?
Because
we're about to start a chili war here. Just bringing that up.
Yeah, I've done it both ways where I do meat. I've done it vegetarian. I've done it with beans. I've done it without. I bought the stuff that I needed yesterday. And I'm realizing I forgot one.
Like melt your face chili?
No, I can't do super spicy hot. That's like you. You like that. But I do it different. I forgot green peppers, so I don't have my car. My car's in the shop right now getting brake work done. So,
everybody delivers now.
Not so much. I still live in a rural area, so they don't as much.
So I like chili with beans.
I do too.
Okay, and that's if I'm making it, that's how I'm making it. And I usually have 2 or 3 different types of meat in it. Not just hamburger, but I like little cubes of beef. I also like little cubes of pork. And I like it spicy, but I can't make it too spicy because then my wife won't eat it. And and then I also, if I'm making chili, I'm also buying hot dogs because one of my guiltiest pleasures in life is a chili dog. So that's like one of my favorite things is a chili dog, which is a holdover from when I bartended in college. And so I love a good chili dog. So that's like one of my favorite things. So
I did when I was in Ohio. Of course, Michigan and Detroit is known for their conies, but in Ohio they have a different kind. I did stop at Skyline once. And had to do it. But chili is I make it different all the time. I don't know I make it great, but this is just going to be hamburger. I put different things in. I'm going to put black beans in this one.
I like black beans. I usually use pinto beans and black beans.
I have some red kidneys and I have some. I got made sure. I think I have black beans, but I bought some. I've put white beans in them before. But you can think about chili. You can do anything. I'm actually my other thing. I cube up a sweet potato and I put that in there.
Chili's like paella. You just whatever you want to throw in.
I bought a parsnip, so I'm going to put that in there too. So
parsnip. I don't think I've ever eaten a parsnip ever.
I have. It's a good root vegetable. It's a little peppery, but I thought, okay, let's try to do that. So we do that. Dean just says Great Northern beans right here. Yeah, which are what I call white beans. So but that's my thing. It'll be later on today.
Yeah. So when I think white beans, I think a chicken chili.
Yep.
I don't want a white bean in a red chili.
Yeah, I've done it in there. It's okay. I did have a recipe for a white chicken chili. I did a few weeks ago, and it was okay. Yeah.
Right. All right. So, all right. Where are we? Frank says, have a great weekend, guys.
Thank you, Frank.
Ray says, Alan, there's no one superior to you in your company. Just keep saying that to yourself.
Yeah, to myself, and I might actually believe it, but it doesn't matter what I think. So,
Dean says, man, that year January was rough. Anyone still feeling the winter slump? There are tons of stokes and multiple fires. More enthusiasm for most of it is weaning. Well, good thing it's February.
Yep, January's over. It's February. It has been a slow year, a slow month. Everybody's saying that.
Not everybody. I know people who that's not true. So
for a lot of people on there, and then from our side, we can tell too. And you know what? It's January. It is. There's a lot of things going on. Sometimes it's in our head, but sometimes it's get out there, make the sales. We keep working hard, keep filling the pipeline,
right?
And let's go.
Yeah. Ray says. Charlie says bye. Ray says beans are on the side. Texas and Oklahoma, they break kind of wreck the consistency. Not so much when I cook it.
I don't either. Yeah, I don't think so either. But I've done it both ways. I'm okay with it. So.
Cindy says thanks, y'all.
Bye, Cindy.
Chris says have a great weekend, and Dean says Great Northern beans best for chili. Yeah. So.
Yep, especially in a white chili. I agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, thanks everyone for watching. We really appreciate you. We'll be back next week, and supposedly we're trying to line up some guests. So
we have a couple emails.
See what happens with that. I've got some people I want on. Alan's got some people we want on. So we'll see if we can actually get people to agree to our crazy demands.
Yep, exactly.
So
have we ever had Mr. Tayeli on?
I don't know. I think so.
Charlie, have you been on our show? If not, we failed.
Was he on when he was talking about his last book?
Maybe it was.
Okay, I don't know, but he's welcome to come back. Let's have him on. Whatever.
So,
all right, guys. Hey, have a great weekend, and we'll see you later.
Hey, and if you guys have ideas for guests and stuff, shoot an email to Mark. Or topics, absolutely.
We just pull it out of our butt every week. It doesn't have to be all us. So.
Yep, absolutely.
All right.
Charlie says he'd come back. We'll get it.
Yeah, there you go. All right. All right. Hey, see you guys later. Have a
great week.
Bye.